Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Pierre, your host, and today it is raining cats and dogs. And it's on days like today that I'm happy that I have my lighting as I have it to make my little films because otherwise it would be extremely dark in here. As I had mentioned in the other streams, I live in the old part of Nice in France, and the building next door to mine is about 15 feet. Actually, my neighbor's living room is closer to my studio than my son's bedroom is to the living room back at home. So it not only is extremely dark usually, even when it's summertime and sunny out, but it's also quite noisy as well. Anyways, I've had many technical difficulties since I started streaming uh, this last week, notably with my microphone problems. Even this headset, which I had to borrow from my son and his Xbox gaming time, I find that the sound isn't very good. A lot of hissing. I have to be careful in the way I talk, but we'll just do with the materials we have. I did order, as I mentioned before, some equipment. It hasn't arrived yet. And like an idiot, I realized afterwards that these were all coming from China. So it could be like, they say end of June I should receive the material. We will see, because besides the microphone, I also am waiting for a box I can hook up my HD cameras to my computer as well. I do have a switcher that arrived on time because it was coming from France. So the switcher permits me to switch back and forth from my cameras, but I need the little box that goes from the switcher to the computer. And that also, they say, is going to take a while, maybe early July. So hopefully mid-July we'll be rolling on a more professional level. But anyways, this permits me at least to get used to the studio, working with the equipment, the hotkeys on my computer, and whatnot. So today, what are we going to do? Today we're going to, if we finished yesterday, by splattering paint on the background of one of my dancers, the latest painting I'm working on. um, I will show, I guess maybe I'll show you. I've already done this yesterday. I've done this before, but I'll do it again. It takes only a minute. I'm going to show you um, a few pictures of the other dancers that I have or part of my series that I started, well, a few months ago, of course. But this is like my cosmic dancer on top of the world. At least that's the name I gave it. And it's fairly tall. I would say it's about 8 feet by about 3 feet and a half, maybe. And then I also did these couple of dancers. I did this quite a while ago, though, a few years ago. And a lot of people enjoyed it. I even have a band in the area that actually asked if they could use it for their album CD covers. So I thought that was kind of nice. And then just before the COVID isolation part, I did this dancer as well. So, anyways, this is I'm just going to continue on these paintings. So, what I'm going to do now that the paint is all dry, I'm going to move the canvas out of the way, put back the table, put back everything, so I can start painting on this. I am going to set my headphones down because the cord is no longer than 2.5 feet, so I can't do anything with it. I could shut off the microphone, but I hate that dead silence. I'd rather you hear some noise. So I'm just going to take off the microphone, put it down, do what I have to do to get ready for today's painting. Then I will come back and I'll tell you more or less what I was planning on doing. Okay, so let's get to work. There, got that done. I do have an easel downstairs in the basement, but I'm too lazy to go get it. I usually work on canvases that are not stretched, so I usually just staple them to the wall, and then when I'm done with the painting, I roll them up and I store them. It's a lot easier than stacking all these stretched paintings that just take more and more room. So anyways, with these empty cans of paint that I have laying around my gesso, it works just as well as if I had an easel. So then today, what am I going to do? I think the first thing I'm going to do is try to put a little bit of shading on the dark purple that's on the bottom by the foot and in the background, because that should go relatively quickly. And then after that, I was thinking of maybe doing some like flowers on the turquoise of the background, of the splattering of my background. And when I say paint some flowers, I don't really paint flowers. What I do is I just spatter. Uh, I find it to be more lively, and it's my style. Okay, so it's and since it's kind of messy, and then again it's relatively thick, and it takes a while to dry. I'm going to try to do that at the end, so we end the day with that. So I'm probably going to do that in several stages. I'm probably going to do like a darker gray, and then have white on top of that, and then maybe a little bit of just a little touches of either yellow or gold. So that's kind of what I had in mind. Right now, what am I going to do? I'm going to get my dark purple paint ready, and I might do a little dark paint first and then maybe a little bit lighter. In the meantime, I'm going to get everything ready, and I'm going to have a little bit of background music as well. As I get ready, I'll put my microphone down and we'll tackle that right now. So, what is going on here? La 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 la, bien bien bien. Apéro, hein? La musique n'a pas l'air de marcher. Bien sûr. So that's interesting. What's going on here? For some reason, of course, everything was working fine before. Now that I actually have to do things live and in color, it's not really working. So, monitor and output. Okay. Well, like usual, things don't want to go your way. I'll just check one more thing here, if that's okay with everybody. I'm just going to look at the properties, make sure that, okay, I don't see anything wrong, honestly, but something is wrong. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to get to work because I'm really here to work. So let me get my paint ready. Okay, so apparently the music was working. I just I just forgot to put it on. Yeah, this is why I'm doing these streams, even though this is the learning process. So, anyways, I got my paint more or less ready. I'm going to have to be careful and concentrate here for a while because I don't want it to be too dark. Usually, my attitude towards painting is what goes down stays down. So, I got to make sure I get it right the first time. I also have to keep in mind that when the paint dries, it darkens as well. So I want to have some sort of shading back there, but I don't want it to be too dark. And I want it. So, anyways, I'm going to have to like stay concentrated and take a. And so I'll put back on a little bit of the music. I'll put back the other camera or the camera that's on the background right now. And I'll be back in a few minutes when I get the background done. Okay, for now, to me that looks good. The nice thing when I have my HD cameras is that I'll be able to zoom in and you'll be able to see much better what I'm doing. But like I said earlier, we'll just make do with the equipment that we have. So I will still try to move this camera a little closer, maybe you can see better. So there you can see more or less the darker background that I put in just to have little highlights in there. I'm going to leave it like that because as I mentioned before, when it dries it gets much darker. So I'm going to let it dry, and then if we have to touch it up and add a lighter color or whatever, we'll see. Honestly, right now looking at it, to me it seems fine. It's the kind of details that only I will see and nobody else will pay attention to it, hopefully. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to work on these little flowers that I mentioned. I'm going to splatter some paint. So I'm going to start off with maybe some gray, light to medium gray, just to have like the background of the flower. And then I'll do some bright white on top of that so it sticks out. And then maybe just a little detail, as I mentioned earlier, some yellow or some gold. So, I'm gonna get all that ready. It's gonna take a few minutes. Listen, what I could do is maybe show you one of my movies while I'm getting everything ready. So it's a movie that lasts only 3 or 4 minutes. It's well, on one of my dancers, let's say, on my cosmic dancer, I have that movie. I'm going to start that. It's then I'm going to have to lower the volume because of copyright reasons, and then I'm going to add music of my friend Pete's ESP. This is music. You can look in the description to find how to get his music. He's kind of like a good friend of mine and a great DJ. Played with many bands in this area, more into the punk music or techno, drum and bass type music. But I think he does DJs for my studio for the Pigeonnier, which is the entire building that hosts many artists. He's kind of like the house DJ when we have big events. We usually call on him to come. So this is the Cosmic Dancer on top of the world, and then I will get the paint ready. I'll get my paint ready. I'll try to move the camera a little bit so you can see me as you're watching the movie as well. So here we go. To be young again. So I'm going to just drop down the volume. There we go. And I'll get Pete's music to come up. and I'm gonna get to work watching this as I get to work. So I got the paint ready. I'm going to start splattering then in my little flowers. I'm going to have to put my helmet down, and going to have to take a minute to look and make sure where I put these, because it has to be, everything has to be feng shui, right? Everything has to be well balanced, harmonious. So I'm just going to have to think where I'm going to want these guys. Okay, I don't have to worry about it too much. I'm going to just take a sip of water and then I'm going to get to it. Okay, here we go. Okay, I think I got the basics done. Of course, there's going to be white paint going on top of that, so I don't want to put too much there, and I don't want too many of these flowers. It has to be just balanced. I have to go wash my hands now because I've been flickering them, and I don't want to get paint all over my son's helmet. He'll kill me. So I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm going to get the white paint ready to splatter on top of the gray paint, and then eventually with my knife I will probably just put a few dabs of I'm not sure, I'll have to see. I was going for yellow and gold. Now I'm thinking maybe a little black. I don't know, we'll see. Let me just do the white first and see how that looks and how that comes out. So there we go. I got the white paint splattered on there. Of course, some of it kind of spilt on the purple below that, But does it really matter? Absolutely not. It doesn't matter because I have the purple paint because I just did that background earlier. So I'll just go and touch up wherever a little bit of white paint splattered on there. It's no big deal, really. So I did have to go wash my paintbrush and my fingers right away because that's the difference between oil paints and acrylics. Oil paints, they take a long time to dry. That's why a lot of people love working with oil paints also because you can work wet and wet. Wet on wet. You can mix colors better and take your time with oil paints. That acrylic, you can do the same thing, but it dries very quickly, especially in the summertime. And I myself am a painter that's kind of speed. I mean, I like working very quickly on my paintings. For years, I just did posters. I painted on paper my motifs, and I'd take them in the streets and I'd glue them in the streets. And I did this in Paris, I did this in Amsterdam, in New York City, anyways, Berlin. So that was my trademark with my friends for quite a few years. So because of that, quality wasn't the most important thing. It was quantity that counted because we would invest in an entire neighborhood and just every few streets and buildings all around, we would glue our hand painted posters. Bring a little color into the dreariness of a city life. So, anyways, because of that, I learned how to paint very quickly. Also, to break all the rules of painting, which is basically you do the background and you work your way to the foreground. Unfortunately, when you're working on paper and on posters like this, you can't do that. You have to kind of do the outlines first and do the foreground first, and then go around and then whatever. It's a whole different technique. So, where am I here? I am going to fix the purple where there is a little bit of white that spilled on there. And then I'm going to debate yes, I think I'm just going to drop a little bit of gold. I mean, when the gold is wet, it looks beautiful, but when it dries, it kind of loses a little bit of its shine. So sometimes it's better to go with yellow than the gold. Though I love painting with gold as background or foregrounds. Hmm. So I think I'm going to try with the gold. So I'm going to clean up the purple that the white spilled on it, and that'll take 10 seconds. And then I'm going to just touch a little bit of the gold. And then there's actually not much I can do. I'm going to have to let that dry and think about what I'm going to do next. I'm probably going to either start at doing the person, the dancer, or I'm going to start tackling the background. I'm not sure. I'm going to think about it. I have all weekend. I won't be back in the studio till Monday, and this will be a good opportunity to stop the stream. So let me go do that, and I'll be right back. Oops. So there's that gold. Forgot, didn't have the headset on, start talking, blabbing away. Anyways, there's that gold. Isn't that beautiful? Hmm. Goldfinger, the man who cannot sing. Anyways, so I'm going to just put a little bit of dab of this on the flowers, and then I'm going to stop my stream. I notice I got paint, white paint on my son's headset. Oh boy, it's going to be quite an ordeal when I get home. Okay, so let me do this. I'll be right back. Okay, well, I got that done. You can barely see it. Let me see if I can move the other camera a little closer and see if that you can tell better. But like I said, the gold is just so discreet. But that's kind of how I like it. I think it came out very nicely. Anyways, let me show it to you. Hopefully, this will work out nicely for you as well. And I'll be right back. So, hopefully, you were able to see something. Um, I am going to end the stream right here. I hope I'd like to thank you for joining me. I know that things are not perfect. Hopefully, I'll be able to get used to all this equipment. I just realized that I'm so taken by the stream that I completely forgot to film with my HD cameras, because usually I make the making of every one of my paintings. And I totally forgot today. I was so preoccupied with the stream and making sure everything worked and getting used to everything that I totally blew and forgot about turning on the cameras. You see, because I'm juggling with three things, in fact. Juggling with my painting, the streaming, and then the filming for my making of. So anyways, it's no big deal and not the end of the world. I'm getting used to all this. And by the time I get my new microphone and I get my cameras hooked up, ooh, I'll be a big professional, and I'll have 5 million viewers, as we all know, one of my biggest goals, right? No, just kidding, of course. I have absolutely nothing to sell here, and the followers and the likes, definitely not a priority. But, anyways, I'm still very happy you did join me on this. I will see you in a few days. Next Monday, I'm going to leave you with my schedule. And then I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And until sports come back, hang in there. I'm a big sports fan as well. I love sports. I've always done a lot of sports. It's always been the yin and yang with me. Take care of your body and take care of your mind. Anyways, I'm a big soccer fan. I love Arsenal. That's my team. And it's been a rough spring not having any football, uh, soccer, as you call it, back home. But, anyways, in another way, it's not that bad because Arsenal really sucked this year. So hopefully they're restructuring and they'll get some new players this summer. And by the fall, we'll have a team that can get back on track. Anyways, my friends, I'm sorry to bore you with these last sports talk, but anyways, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Monday. Take care.